It's such a pleasure to see Minister George, you here in your office. And you are very well known in China and in the world. So I think it's only befitting for us to discuss a bit international affairs, so much going on, and also relating to China, US, and ASEAN. So this morning I was watching BBC. It's the news about Munich Security Conference. And obviously Russia and the United States have agreed to have negotiations to be held in Saudi Arabia. But Europe was left in the cold. And it's not that surprising because in our current affairs show in Shanghai, when the war broke out, we said Ukraine will be the #1 victim. Europe will be the #2 victim. From my point of view, this kind of situation is already somehow predictable. It happens now. So what's your view? I know Singapore's official position on the Ukrainian crisis, but from your scholarly and statesman's view of that crisis and its current situation, how it will, in the end, what will be the end result with Donald Trump in power?
Under Donald Trump, the US is turning inwards.
Yeah.
It's turning inwards because there are many problems within the society. Social divisions, the industrialization, drug addiction, moral confusion within the US itself. So the founding principles of America, while they are in law, in spirit, a lot of it is lost. And partly because the US has changed demographically. In a few years, the white people in the US will no longer be the majority.
Yeah.
And if you go to New York or to any of the great cities, you're not sure
That's true.
what is the character because it's so mixed.
Yeah.
You could be in the UN.
Yeah.
And I can understand why many Americans, traditional Americans who were there many generations, don't like to see this rapid change in their own society. So Trump has always been against open immigration. He's always been against free trade because he thinks that free trade without countervailing policies leads to deindustrialization and leads to the large segment of society losing skills to countries to which products are outsourced for manufacturing. But he's pro-business. So in all his actions, one eye is on the stock market.
That's true.
So he's pro-business. This is in his instinct. It's not just political. But the last part about Trump is he's against war. So he doesn't like wars. It doesn't mean that he will not fight a war, but he likes to avoid war, which is a good thing for the world. And America is consolidating, and they can't recreate a Monroe Doctrine because the hemisphere is too big. And South America is too difficult because of Brazil, Venezuela, Colombia. But he's trying to consolidate North and Central America. So his initial moves are against Canada and Mexico, but these are negotiating moves to force them to work more closely. Then he's renamed the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America. It's not whimsical. I think it reflects an internal strategy. And Secretary Rubio's first visit was to Central America. And they want to make sure they do not lose strategic control of Panama. So threatening to take it over so that they will listen to the US. And even his early success in getting 6 American detained in Venezuela out suggested an initial contact with Maduro. And Rubio himself is Cuban American.
That's true.
So we'll see. But my own initial observation is that they're trying to consolidate North and Central America. Trump wants to build an iron dome against China and Russia. So Canada, which always had NORAD, is part of it. He wants Greenland. But what does he say to the Europeans? I'm looking after myself. And I will not depend on you to look after me. So I want Greenland. Of course, he also wants his resources. But resources have got to be paid for. So by his actions, Trump is helping to precipitate a multipolar world.
In a way,
The Europeans will now have to look after themselves. They have to find a new equilibrium with Russia, with China. And Trump is doing what Kissinger recommended a long time ago, which is in a world where America's relative power is in decline, America's best strategy is to move closer to everybody. Everybody, to China, to Russia, to Europe, to Japan, to everybody. And then in any relationship, America can play the balancing role. So these are
balancing.
These are a Tai Chi principle. You move to the center. And then from the center, you have a lot of power. But under Biden, they wanted to be number one in the world. So this put them off balance. So it's a very interesting period.
That's so much going on and so much history unfolding before our eyes. And then if we look at slightly from a more theoretical point of view, this classical liberalism, which was about separation of powers, which Donald Trump disliked. He could love to have power, or 3-4 powers, all in his own hands. And then this new liberalism, which called the world is flat. And Donald Trump hates that. Deindustrialization happened in that period. Then woke liberalism, of course, that was most offensive to him. So do you think that with the rise of Donald Trump and his somehow domestic support pretty strong, as shown in this election, does it mean the end of this classical new liberalism as well as woke liberalism? It will be gone, or it's just temporary? Donald Trump is temporary, the transitional, or end of history?
I see Trump as an agent of history. I think there is a historical tide moving towards multipolarity. Trump is now helping it happen sooner rather than later. The Biden administration tried to prevent it, but failed. But Trump himself will only be there for one term. And if they lose one of the houses in the midterm elections, he has 2 years to achieve his agenda. His main concern is internal.
That's true.
Which means cutting down the deficit, deregulating. He's got Elon Musk to be head of DOGE, the Department of Governmental Efficiency. He's trying to improve education, reduce drug addiction, stop all this woke extremism. I think his deep instincts are to revive, rejuvenate America, hence his slogan, make America great again. But it's very difficult. And I can't help sometimes recalling the Guangxi period when they had this Wuxi Bianfa, 100 days. It failed miserably because it's so difficult to achieve such drastic reform. Certain things you can do, like US aid and so on, and maybe better identification. But Social Security, Medicare, defense, these are all big ticket items.
That's true.
You can trim here and there, save maybe a few $100 billion, maybe $1 trillion, but it's not going to change the trend. So,
and as well in the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy, Donald Trump should have consulted your side before he made these decisions. He agree with you.
But he has to try. He has to try because if you're an American, you can't see this thing just happening before you. It's like China in the 19th century. The great scholars, they watched all this. I mean, Futan was established partly because of his of this frustration. People say, no, try to change it. But it's so difficult.
That's true.
Machiavelli, the prince, said, "Nothing is so difficult as reform. Nothing is more dangerous and more difficult than reform."
In human history, very often revolutions can be successful, but reforms can fail.
Reform can fail. But we should hope that Trump succeeds. We should hope that he succeeds, because if America recovers its self-confidence, it will also recover its sense of responsibility for the world.
That's true,
And that's good for everybody.
And I was in Sciences Po in Paris just 1 week ago, and I had a conversation with local scholars there in France. They asked me about Donald Trump. I said something similar. I said his effort to dismantle this deep state, we hope he will be successful. Because not only deep state has caused so many problems, destruction, wars in the world, but has also caused huge damage to America's own interest. So I said, on that point, I think he should try hard. So I do not object to it. What's your take, deep state?
Attacking the deep state is very dangerous, because they have all the information, they have all the secrets. He will make some successes, but it's very difficult. And it requires more than one Donald Trump.
That's true.
To do this.
You know, in our current affairs program, TV show, back in 2021, when Joe Biden came to power, I made a prediction at that time. It's open to the public. I said Joe Biden administration is transitional. 4 years later, Donald Trump may return, or it will be a year of Donald Trump without Donald Trump, which means he could have been assassinated. But still, some of his ideas may continue to survive him. So that's our predictions at that time, 4 years ago. And fortunately, Chinese government, Chinese enterprises, Chinese companies, most of them also think along this line. So we are ready for the whatever trade war, tech war, if any, in the pipeline.
I think China has been very steady. Because China knows that what happens in the US is for Americans to decide. And China cannot say that our policy is based on one outcome. China's policy is that it must be based on all outcomes. And be prepared, whatever the situation. And I think it's been a good strategy. Just be very steady, don't escalate, be strong, and make friends everywhere.
That's true.
And wait. Now that Trump has made his move, and after J.D. Vance's speech in Munich, I think you'll find everybody wanting a China option.
That's true.
The Europeans, the Indians, the Japanese, Koreans, everybody.
That's true.
Say, oh, I better get closer to China, because otherwise I'm facing the US alone.
偷偷告诉大家，我最近发现了新法宝 Royal Face 逆时奇迹系列，它有活肤露、全效精华，还有精华霜。尤其我皮肤比较偏干，所以我非常的注重保湿。保湿做得好，肌肤自然烹润。提亮肤色更年轻，抚平皱纹超有感，而且气色变好，用心保养，每天都更美一点。美吧。